Imagine a village in 1940s India. Over 85% of the population lives in rural areas. Fields stretch across the horizon, yet farmers are poor, underfed, and powerless. This was the reality of India's agricultural sector under British rule. Agriculture wasn't just a livelihood, it was the foundation of India's economy. But under colonialism, it faced severe stagnation and misery. In today's video, we'll explore how British policies damaged Indian agriculture and why its effects are still felt today. Let's start with a key fact. In 1947, about 85% of India's population depended on agriculture for their livelihood. But despite this dominance, agriculture remained backward and stagnant. How? There was no technological progress. Farming tools were primitive. Fertilizer use was negligible. Irrigation facilities were almost absent. So, even though more land was cultivated over time, productivity per hectare remained low. One of the biggest culprits behind agricultural stagnation was the land revenue system, especially the Zamindari system. Let me explain. The British introduced Zamindari in the Bengal Presidency. Here's how it worked. The British collected taxes from zamindars, large landowners. The zamindars, in turn, collected rent from the actual cultivators, often poor peasants or sharecroppers. But these zamindars had no responsibility to improve the land. Their goal was simple: collect maximum rent no matter the farmer's condition. As a result, no investment was made in better seeds, irrigation, or soil improvement.
Farmers remained trapped in poverty and debt. This system led to widespread misery and social unrest in rural India.
Another colonial policy that deeply affected agriculture was commercialization. British industries needed raw materials, cotton, jute, indigo, and more. So Indian farmers were encouraged, or sometimes forced, to grow cash crops instead of food crops. This shift had serious consequences. Farmers earned little as prices were controlled. They became vulnerable to price fluctuations. Most importantly, there was less food grown for domestic consumption. Result? Food scarcity and frequent famines. So while some regions showed higher yields, the majority of farmers suffered. Let's understand this with a real-life analogy. Imagine being told you can only grow cotton in your backyard, not food. You sell the cotton at a fixed low price, but now you can't feed your family. This was the fate of millions of Indian farmers. Now, let's do a simple economic interpretation. Suppose a farmer cultivates 10 acres of cotton land but earns 200 rupee per acre. That's 200 times 10 equals to rupees 2000 total annual income. Now suppose food grain prices go up due to scarcity. The farmer has to buy food at a higher price, reducing his real income. So while he appears productive, he is actually becoming poorer. This mismatch between production and consumption is a classic feature of colonial agricultural policy. Conclusion: the roots of rural poverty. To summarize, the agricultural sector under British rule was marked by stagnation, exploitation, and forced commercialization. Though India had the land and labor, there was no incentive, investment, or technology to improve productivity. British policies created a cycle of poverty, particularly in rural India, that took decades to reverse. In our next video, we shift focus to the industrial sector and uncover how India's world-famous handicrafts were dismantled. Stay tuned.